First things first, how are you?
I'm good. It's nice to be in Amsterdam.
Okay.
And I love this hotel, by the way.
Very good to have you. So
Thank you.
what I want to start with is it's not the most pleasant thing, but you had an injury, a vocal injury.
I did, yeah.
When you were going through surgery and then kind of recovering, did you write a lot?
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't. I need my voice to write melodies.
Right.
And so sometimes you're singing a melody and then it's the jigsaw puzzle of putting the lyrics into that melody. And that would be really tough to do. I mean, I guess I could have done it on a piano if I sat down and did it that way. But no, it's just so much easier just to sing. And so it was a nice break. Just,
Okay.
Keep the mouth shut. There's a lot of jokes about that. My wife at the time, we laughed a lot about that one. I'm like, so I had this app on my phone that I would use, and I would just talk to her for 2 weeks when I couldn't even speak. And so when we got different kinds of food, I would change the accent. So if we got Chinese food, everything I would say would have a Chinese accent on it. Or if we got Indian food, it would have like an East Indian accent. So I thought that was so I got a kick out of that. I had her laughing for the full 2 weeks when I wasn't speaking, so that was good.
And so then your voice comes back. Where do you start when thinking about a new album?
I don't know. I think when you go and get surgery, there's a fear. You're afraid that you're pulling on a very thin thread, and you have no idea how hard you can pull because it might just snap. And it's not really the case.
Right.
It's not the case at all. Once you get a new set of tires, you've got a brand new set of tires. The trick I found is almost beating it up hard, quickly, to try and get it to sound like, like 20 years of abuse sounded before you went and got surgery. But I mean, I warm up and I take good care of it. But now I don't scream AC/DC at 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning when I'm drunk with my friends, like I used to.
Right. But did it scare you?
Sure, yeah, I was a little worried, but I was in really good hands. I mean, you never know how you're going to sound or what's going to happen, or if you're never going to be able to sing again. But I woke up and I sounded just like the loser from Nickelback. And it was good. I was very happy when I first started speaking, and once I went through rehabilitation and was seeing this vocal coach, I remember the very first time he warmed me up really, really well. He had me singing for a long time, but at no point in time did I kind of push it, and get that grind going, like the little vocal distortion, the overdriven vocal sound sort of thing. And I got in my car, and I can't remember what song it was, but I turned it up a little bit, and I'm like, I want to take these new tires forever. I want to see what this sounds like, because my heart will be broken if I just did that much warming up, like 3.5, 4 months after my surgery, and I can't sing. Because that's a pretty good indicator. I should be able to at least have a glimpse. And I went for one, and it was all there. And I was like, whoa. And I went for another one, and I went really high, like really, really high. And I had goosebumps, and I almost had tears in my eyes. I started calling Mike, I called Brian, and I was like, listen to this. And it was like so high. I can't sing that high now, because it's come back down to sort of like, now it's back where it was, but it was like, I had a cape on. I felt like Superman. So it was really, it was pretty cool.
In that sense then, and this might be a stretch, but did it influence the way the record sounds? And then especially because, well, you've mentioned this before, this is one of the more heavy records you've done lately. So in terms of that kind of that high pitch and going up there, was your mind there to go that route?
No. Once you're sort of back in the trenches, I just wasn't thinking about it.
Okay.
I was just writing the best melodies that I could for the songs. And I wasn't really thinking about how high. There are some songs on here that are really aggressive. Like if you listen to the one song called "The Betrayal," I'm screaming.
Right.
You know, it's sort of Pantera-esque screaming in the chorus, and I don't know that I've ever done that before, like gone that heavy. But and there's other songs where it's really high. The lead vocal is incredibly high. And then you've got to put a high harmony on it. So then, you know, I was hitting some notes where I'd finish a take and then I could hear everybody laughing. And I thought I just went flat or sharp or something. I was like, how bad was that? And they're like, no, you're on. It's just really, really high. You know, so that's always fun. I mean, doing that stuff in the studio is great. Doing it live is way different because, you know, that's not a sprint. That's a marathon. So you've got to pace yourself in that setting.
So when you did start writing on what would become the new album, what was the mindset? What was the, especially on the first couple of tracks that kind
the guys, you know, they had said that they wanted the record to be a little bit more aggressive. I mean, there's some melodic stuff on the record, you know, as there always will be. It would be kind of boring if it was just sort of the same thing straight through. So we like variance, you know, we like some versatility in the record. But I think overall it's got more of an aggressive tone than we normally have. So that was probably just the only thing going in that all the guys were, you know, the one mindset was let's just make it a little heavier.
And then some people say art is a reflection of life. So was it the fact, and especially now in hindsight, was there a reason why everybody was gearing towards maybe more heavy sound? Or
I think that the last record had maybe too many softer moments on it, and I can't remember if that's what the guys were saying, but whatever it was, I think that might have been one point that was brought up. It was like, well, the last one was a little, and maybe we need to, you know, switch gears and go a little more, get back to roots. You know, we definitely started off as a little bit of a heavier band, but we found fans in so many different places because we just wanted to write different kinds of songs. So we'd write, you know, a song that was way over here, and the fans would accept it, and then sometimes we'd write something really heavy, and the fans would accept that too, which is nice. It's a wonderful luxury to have when you're a songwriter, because I would just get so sick of writing the same kind of music. Right. Yeah, that was the only thing going in. There wasn't any common theme per se, but the mindset was definitely, let's try and make it a little.
When then did the idea for Feed the Machine and kind of that dystopian?
I think that song actually was conceptualized when we were all sitting in a room together and we were working on the song. There was like that song had a lot of input from all the guys, and even lyrically, you know, spitting out lots of different lines, and everyone had their own different interpretation of it. So one was political, one was religious, one was like corporate, so oil and gas and big pharma and all those things. And we all had this different perception of what the machine is that needs to continually be fed, and the people that are being used to do that. So that one, so anytime one of us would come up with a line that pulled it too much in one direction, it was too obvious what that would make the entire song about.
Right.
So there was a triangle sort of keeping it in check in every different way to make sure that at no point in time any line pulled it too far in one direction where it still didn't apply to what they thought the meaning was,
right.
which was very interesting. And we pulled it off.
Was there a lot of struggling in the studio and kind of getting your point?
No, it's not
Okay.
struggling. It's struggling to come up with the best lines. We don't really argue about. I mean, rarely does anyone argue about lyrics or anything like that. We usually just want the song to be the best it can be, and we put a lot of effort into the songs. And I think when you listen to the songs, you can tell, like you can hear that. I mean, we don't sort of just have one song that we sort of throw out there. It's like, oh, here you go.
Right.
You can tell there's a lot of effort that goes into every single song. There's always parts, different parts. So it's usually, where do we go after the second chorus? Okay. That's the one spot where that's you might as well just be rolling dice. Okay. That's when someone's like, well, let's go. You can go guitar solo, you can go breakdown, you can go into a different riff, you can go into a bridge where you're singing an entirely different melody, but you're still contributing to the main theme. So, I mean, the whole process is so much fun. Like, songwriting is my favorite. I love it. It's an adventure because you never know where it's going to go. And hopefully when you're done and you're finished and you sit back and listen to it, you're just proud of every single second that goes by. Right. And then once you're really happy with it, then you want to play it for somebody. And you hope that they enjoy it as much as you enjoyed making it.
Final question then.
I'm sorry, because it's madness out
so
there.
one more question?
Yep.
Okay. Final question then. Well, you mentioned that songwriting is the crux for in what you do, and you kind of alluded to the fact that people have their say about what you do as a band. And has it ever affected you creatively?
Has
kind of the people's opinions and critics and
No, I'm not influenced by, like, my songwriting is never influenced by what anyone else thinks. Okay. It's always the band. The band is that is the voting group. Whatever the band allows. I mean, we had a ballad on this record that was going to be that'd probably make it on the next record, and the chorus is this huge, soaring, big love ballad. But we decided that it didn't really match with the album. It would stick out like a sore thumb if we put it on there. And so it's not like it's going anywhere. It's not like we're gonna, I mean, hopefully, it's not like we're gonna stop making music. So we've got it. It's sitting there, and it'll be on the next record, I'm sure. But for this one, we were like, you know what? Not this one. We're gonna leave it.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for taking the time.
Oh, no worries.